Mental, I've been through hard times too. The situation demand I bring the hard rhymes through. That's why I'm all times too. Half past despicable, last man to bring it through. Fast raps and critical stack, analytical slap. I'm hitting you smack. I'm sticking you smack lips to stack chips, all with the lyrical technique.
Hey, quick report from the aisles of the Safeway in Trinidad, Colorado. It's my pleasure to report that of the 2 dedicated Mr. Beast cookie cardboard displays that appeared a few months ago, there are now 0 remaining. I can't tell you, man. Everywhere you go, you got to look at this kid's face. Now he's at the grocery store too, beaming at me. And anyway, they're gone. I don't know what this world needs less, really, than a boutique cookie brand from some internet asshole who does contests. So, yeah, man, adios, Mr. Bitch. See those things, and I'm like, bro, this is Trinidad, Colorado at a Safeway. I'm not here to buy fucking YouTube cookies. Here to steal meat. Anyway, I am your friend, your best friend, and the host of the podcast you're now listening to, Breakup Gaming Society. Some people call me the Great Unclean One. I just want you to call me your pal. I'm going to do 3 things for you today. 1, share some impressions on a bottle of Bird Dog Bourbon. 2, talk about the board game, or the more of a card game, but you know what I mean. Bohnanza, the classic game that for planting and harvesting beans is 15 times as fun as it should be. And we got to play that down at Frontier Geeks on Main Street with the proprietor of Frontier Geeks and Big Dog Easy Dick and his girl. I'm going to tell you about Bohnanza, the highly durable classic card game. And then last, we're going to do a track from Cypress Hill protege group called Psycho Realm. I didn't like the first time I heard him. Then I heard this, and I think, no, this is pretty good. I'm going to share it with you. There it is. Drink of the week, game of the week, track of the week. Just like always on Breakup Gaming Society, I am the Great Unclean One. And here we go. So the other night, I rolled downtown to go to Frontier Geeks, which is a very welcoming little gaming shop operated by my friend and neighbor, Ryan Dorner, who's a good dude. And I'm meeting Big Dog Easy Dick, a.k.a. the Prof, and his girl's in town. And he was waiting for us in his upstairs game room. I had a big duffel bag. The Prof and Contessa Easy Dick, they're not hobby gamers, so I always got to give him like a menu to pick from because I can't throw crunch at him. But Ryan, he'll play anything. I got a lot of games in the duffel bag, a speaker, and a bottle of Bird Dog Kentucky Straight Bourbon. There were 2 flavors for sale on the shelf. I opted for the small batch 7-year-old, and long story short, spoiler, yes. If where the rubber meets the road is, do people want to drink this? Even people who aren't whiskey drinkers? I pulled out some indestructible shot glasses up there while we set the game up, and I'll be damned if that little 5th I bought didn't take a pounding. We poured about 3/4 of it out while we played Bohnanza, which we're going to talk about during Game of the Week. This is a highly drinkable whiskey at a very fair price. I've had it once before, but it was with such a bunch of degenerates that the bottle didn't last 45 minutes. People were like doing the worm on our kitchen counter. I couldn't tell you what it tasted like. I was throwing shit outside into the alley through our kitchen window. But people like it, Ryan calls down to Donovan, like, Donovan, get up here and try this. And we tried the shit out of it. And what I recall is just a nice, balanced, easy going tip of the tongue to the bottom of your tummy warmth. And I don't get a lot of notes. But one thing I keep remembering, like all the way through it, and it wasn't overbearing, kept tasting something I wanted to say was maple or something like maple. I saw this ad the other day for like one of the whiskeys, and it was an online ad, and it said, the headline was, more than 200 notes. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. Ain't nobody unpacking 200 notes. That's just for somebody who wants to stun on somebody. I taste 3 or 4 notes: general depth and complexity, level of burn, sweetness, and the 4th note, which is, are we having a good time or not? And we were. Only sat there for about an hour. We knocked the shit out of that 5th because it was good. Bird Dog 7-year-old, thumbs up from Breakup Gaming Society. Here comes Game of the Week. You know, there is absolutely no harm in the board gaming world, especially considering the volume of releases with which we're battered every year. Nothing wrong in being a late adopter. Let everyone else chase the hotness. See what endures. And the way I see it, if a game gets mentioned on your favorite board game forum again and again and again, years after its release, and people you know with more than 300, 400, 500 titles on their shelf are still putting it on the table, and your cousins in New Jersey are playing it, there's something going on. That's how we got our copy of Bohnanza. Fantastic game. If you're looking at it graphically, you're going to look at it and think, what the hell's this? Doesn't look badass, but boy is it. Here's how it works. Everybody at the table is a bean farmer. There's a bunch of beans of varying value and rareness, and it's your job to make the best out of what's in your hand by trading beans with other players and timing your plants and harvests at such a time where by the time the deck has been gone through 3 times and the game ends, you've got the most value in harvests. And you know, there's a couple very clever things in there which make it tough. For one, once you get when you're drawing new bean cards, you can never change the order of them. So you're always trying to look 2, 3, 4, 5 cards down the pipe and see what you're going to do, because you're only allowed to have so many crops in the ground at the same time. And if you get stuck with beans you don't want, sometimes you have to tear up your crops for no money and start all over. And there's also a beautiful moment where the table will erupt, because one step of somebody's turn is there's a trading phase. They roll 2 cards into the market, and if somebody sees something they like, or that player who rolled the cards doesn't like those kinds of bean, everyone's going to start making offers and saying, I'll give you 2 so-and-so for that red bean, and it's pretty damn entertaining. Now, I've been looking back on Bohnanza over the years I've had it on the shelf, and the amount of people that I've played it with and enjoyed it with, and here's the sweet spot it hits for me, and that is perfect intersection of pace, depth, and sociability. It makes you think, but not so much that after a few plays, you're going to go into analysis paralysis for hitting big snags. Most of the time, the most complex thing that's going to happen to you is when you start engineering some kind of weird trades, which the game is very liberal with. That's the second pillar of it. It's sociability. And it plays pretty fast, or at least a turn does. You can sit there and trade and yell beans. I mean, the idea is you have to cycle through the available deck of all the beans 3 times, then the game's over. And of course, it's interesting because by that 3rd trip through the deck, a lot of the good stuff's been planted, and it's going to be harder to put together profitable harvests. Good pace plotted against the level of thinking required, and very natural, loud, and raucous interactions when you're trading. You're kind of watching what other people have put in the ground and trying to figure out whether that's not worth you doing or not, and how many you left in the deck. Bohnanza, Bohnanza. Indestructible. It's still on tables today because it's good and everybody knows it, including you. Here comes Track of the Week. So, I don't pretend to know a lot about Psycho Realm and Sick Jackin' outside of the one experience I had in my head from the 1990s that was bad. We were at Smokin' Grooves tour in the late 90s at Red Rocks, which is traditionally, at the time, it was anchored by Cypress Hill, which makes a lot of sense. Here you are in Colorado, no shortage of kids who like weed and like hearing gangster shit. Plus, Cypress Hill is like the first act I ever saw that figured out how to effectively fuse the stoner shit and the gangster shit with their own kind of arena rock. Big inflatable skeleton smoking a bong. Get an extra percussionist out there, let him have a solo. People were into it. That was until he brought out Psycho Realm. And boy, I've never seen a crowd die faster. And you can tell, Be Real has brought these guys up or brought these guys along. And he's really trying to sell them. But that day, there was a combination. When they handed, I think it was Sick Jackin', but I'm not sure. It was a long time ago. When they handed in the mic, he gets on there and his wraparounds. And something about the way he's addressing the mic and his vocal tone or pitch, plus how they had it mic'd, the sound was like a drill through your head. It was such a buzzkill. You couldn't really hear his flow because there's just this just drilling into your head. Be Real, let him do too many songs. The crowd absolutely deflated. And it was, I think, 3 songs later, Be Real takes the mic and Psycho Realm hits the exits. And Be Real's like, isn't that some good hip hop? And you could hear 5,000 people go, yeah, I guess. You do some more Cypress Hill songs now, please. So I never listened to him really again until one day the algorithm serves up Killing Fields by Psycho Realm. One, great flow on the pace. And I finally got to hear how a producer or somebody who assigned them to a label would want this rapper to sound, which is pretty good on beat. Has that, I don't know if it was Soul Assassins or something related to it, but there was a Soul Assassins kind of template in terms of the kind of noises you would put on a bar and the kind of mood, which was gothic and menacing, but also efficient. Very prone to making you bob your head. I love this beat. Take a listen.
Street theater's a dramatic depiction and non-fiction, showing the coexistence of harmony and friction. We document opposition. Pro-abolition is static, bringing those on a mission. The rendition of the
Simple, mean, clean, and effective. That just quick repeating piano, and then what sounds like the creepy organ that they layer on, and then a screech at the end of the bar. And I'm always a sucker for the faster tracks anyway, I think. I've got this theory that if you want to make a decent MC or a good MC sound great, do 2 things. 1, make them tell a story. I don't know, having to tell a story just does something to get them in like I don't want to use an Eastern term, but a heart-centered space. They're closer to what matters to them. Plus, the story requires more cohesion, I think, within lines and between lines. That's my theory. And another way, I think, to make a good MC sound great is get them on an up-tempo track. And if they can keep the pace, it's going to sound good. Let me show you what I mean.
ghetto street pavement shelter, static and hard as a spark of automatic weapons. Send the tragic funeral traffic congested on the highway. Planning caravan for respect before you leave. Why wait? Continue the killing on barren fields. The year no real square. House silly, street clown, frown in bad times, which probably explains mad dogs and high crime. Influx of murder deluxe, the strike bust so repeated outside across my black ducks.
And there you go. Really solid cut from the blunted gangster West Coast underground from a band that I wrote off incorrectly. Nice job, Psycho Realm. And nice job for you for riding along with me till the end of this podcast. That's all I got to say for episode 71. I'm just going to hit you with the farewell toast. As we always say, I am the great unclean one, thanking you for your time and attention. And until next time, may you fight long and well.
Who is it?
How the hell do I know? He's got no goddamn head. It's one of the new guys. Now you got to tell these men to put an extra set of ID tags on their boots. One each. Then this kind of shit wouldn't happen. How the hell am I supposed to identify these people?